Today's video, I'm going to be realistically rebuilding the Indianapolis Colts because Anthony Richardson just got benched in real life by my GOAT, Joe Flacco. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys like and or subscribe. Let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes, and I promise you guys, I will not fail another rebuild here because I think I failed like my last 3 in a row. I've been buns lately, but trust me, I'll come back on this video. I'm predicting it now. So for this rebuild, of course, we're going to start my GOAT, Joe Flacco, just for 1 year. Yes, there's an argument about the development of Anthony Richardson. In real life, he admitted to, in the Houston game, he benched himself because he was tired. That's the most sorry excuse you could probably make. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying, like, come on. He's definitely still got some growing pains to deal with. But for now, our GOAT Joe Flacco will be the starter just for year 1. We got Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, who I love. A.D. Mitchell, I'm going to put at the number 2. Josh Downs is definitely more of a slot receiver. The O-line seems really good on paper here. In real life, sometimes the offensive tackles struggle, but overall looks pretty good. Jelani Woods, I'm going to make the starting tight end, even though he's a bit older. How old is he? I believe he's about, actually, never mind. I thought he was like 27, 28. He seems pretty good. Never mind. But for the defense here, you got Kwity Paye. Questionable about him. He was a first-round pick. Hasn't really developed that much yet, so that's why they drafted Leatu Latu here. You got DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed, Julian Blackmon, Julius Brents, and Kenny Moore here. Nick Cross as a free safety. And yes, I've been doing my research, and by research, I mean ChatGPT. Dallas is obviously the most overpowered offensive playbook with multiple zone run. Defense, I feel like it's always just hit or miss, but I'm told base 4-3 defense with a stacked defensive line, Seattle's playbook or the Giants playbook, so I chose Seattle, of course. If you got a hybrid between good defensive linemen and good safeties and secondaries, you choose the Niners, and then if you have just a really good secondary and a really bad defensive line, you choose the Patriots. That's what ChatGPT told me. So I'm going to base my offense and this entire rebuild video around ChatGPT. They carried my way through, I'll say through some assignments that I had to work on. So that way nobody gets my diploma taken away from me. But anyways, guys, apart from that, let's just move into the midseason mark. And we're 1-6 at the midseason mark with Joe Flacco at the starting QB here. Our passing yards is 8th in the NFL, and then the defense just sucks. Okay, ChatGPT not working out too great right now. Scouting national focus, I'm going to do middle linebacker here. And even though we lost, weekly awards, Joe Flacco 4 passing touchdowns to 1 interception. Are you kidding me, dude? He has all that, and we still lose. Our defense is just that bad. And then for the negotiations here, Julian Blackmon, he doesn't like the scheme fit here. I don't know if I'm going to change it right now. And do I really want to keep him long term? I wouldn't mind him for a couple years, but it's like if I want to give him player friendly, very player friendly, I'm not going to do that. I'll do 2 years, and he doesn't want that. So no. EJ Speed, no. Ryan Kelly, I definitely wouldn't mind back here, and he's going to accept a 2-year contract, so he's going to stay on the team, of course, for another 2 years. Will Fries, legendary name. Right guard, how much do you want? $6 million a year to be a starting right guard? Honestly, don't even mind that. If he resigns on this, he does resign on that. Mo Ellie Cox, I'm not really interested in. Joe Flacco, my GOAT, how much do you want? $6 million for 1 year. He does have the mentor tag for Anthony Richardson, so why not just sign him for another year? We have $60 million left in cap room. I'm just going to move into the playoffs. And here we are in the playoffs. All my defensive ranks are dead last as we're 2-15. ChatGPT has sold me. Well, back to what I know is best, which is the Atlanta defense. So I'm just going to stick with that. Base 4-3, Atlanta defense, my rebuild, my rules. Joe Flacco, straight buns. 26 offense in the NFL, defensively 32nd. Flacco, 23 touchdowns to 24 interceptions, 75 pass rating. I don't really need to say much else other than that. Jonathan Taylor, 3 fumbles, but 11 touchdowns, 4.5 per carry, 1,000 yards. He should be getting more attempts with this, especially in the Dallas playbook. Josh Downs, 6 touchdowns, barely over 1,000 yards. A.D. Mitchell, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. I wish they utilized him this much in real life. I've been in fantasy. He doesn't do anything. Michael Pittman Jr., only 3 touchdowns, 700 yards. I never really check out the blocking here, but 17 sacks allowed by Ryman here. He allows a sack a game. That is not acceptable. Zaire Franklin, 125 tackles, 124 for EJ Speed, tackles for loss, 15 for Leatu Latu, and 5.5 sacks. That's a great rookie year for him. 14 from Grover Stewart, 13 from Kwity Paye, 10 for EJ Speed, 10 from DeForest Buckner, sacks 13.5 from DeForest Buckner, and only 3 sacks from Kwity Paye. But again, he does have 13 tackles for a loss. Interceptions, 4 for Zaire Franklin, 0 safeties on the team, but defensive touchdowns is 1 for Kenny Moore. And the Ravens beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Derrick Henry wins the Super Bowl MVP. Brock Purdy wins the league MVP, and there are no awards here for the Colts. In the AFC South, Pat Pete, Case Keenum, whoever this guy is, and Ryan Tannehill all retire. For the team upgrades, offensively, we look the exact same. Defensively, who do we have? We have Zaire Franklin going up to superstar development. How old is he? He is 29. And it seems like that is all of the development upgrades, unfortunately. We have 33 million here, starting out with Julian Blackmon. I don't mind him. I still want this 2-year deal with him. It's just that, you know, he's 27. He's about to start regression. I doubt he makes it to an 85 in this rebuild. I'm going to boost his money, and he resigns for 2 years. That's fine with me. EJ Speed did have a good year with us, but it's like, I'm not going to give him a massive contract because of his age being at 30, but he did have 10 tackles for a loss, so pay him $10 million just for this 1 year, so that way it doesn't affect us long term. Everyone else here, I'm just not interested in, and I really don't have that much money to spend in free agency, so I think I'm just going to hold off and skip to the draft. And we have the #1 pick after going 2 and 15. I doubt there's going to be a safety here that I want to draft because I want to draft the free safety. Never mind, dude. Wow. Do I really use the #1 pick on a safety? Felix Spellman out of Florida, great speed, good acceleration, elite change direction. He looks really good. I don't know about #1 pick good, but we're going to do it anyways. Felix Spellman, let's see what you got. Ranked #1 in the class, drafted him at 1, yet it's still an A- pick instead of an A+. Hidden development, 5'11", 198. This is the first time in a long time I've ever seen the actual #1 player be actually the #1 pick and will #1 ranked player in the class. So Felix Spellman, crazy. He will be the starting free safety. Well, actually, I'm going to move Julian Blackmon over to free safety. In the second round, picking up a free safety. So yeah, I'm going to bench Julian Blackmon after I just signed him on a 2-year deal. I don't care. This guy, Josh Polk, hidden development, 6'2", 200 pounds out of Louisville, 89 speed, 87 acceleration. He will be the starter. In round number 3, Dalton Jones here, field general out of Georgia, hidden development, 87 speed, 88 acceleration, ranked 24 in the class, got him at 65, A's and B's across the board. I'll start him at right outside linebacker. And after the draft, Felix Spellman is an 80 overall, and then Josh Polk is a 74, 75 for Dalton Jones. Picked up this guy Blackstock in the 4th round, doesn't seem to be that good, but then I stopped drafting after that. Now, this is the team after the draft. Joe Flacco is just going to be riding the bench on this one. The AI picked up this guy named Hopkins, so sure, we're going to have him. And of course, Flacco still has that mentor tag. A.D. Mitchell, again, we're going to move up to the #2. Josh Downs will be the slot. Offense looks really good. Just need Richardson to develop. And then Dalton Jones here, I'm going to move to right outside linebacker. And now that we got that sorted out, Polk will be the starter, and Spellman is already a higher overall than Julian Blackmon. So absolutely, he's going to be starting. Maybe I draft another defensive back or maybe another middle linebacker to fill in Zaire Franklin after this season. Everything else seems pretty good here. I don't want Julian Blackmon at linebacker. I guess I'm going to have to automatically move the other linebacker up, which is exactly what I'm doing. Honestly, I'm just going to make him the #1 sub linebacker in year #1. Let's move into the midseason mark with a new playbook and, of course, with Anthony Richardson as the starter. And we are 3-3. Improvement, boys, as our defense here in offensive points per game is 24th in the league. Our offensive passing yards is 11th. Our offensive rushing game is 2nd. So you know what? I'll take that. Rushing yards is only 15th in the league right now, but it's honestly a lot better than last year. Scouting national focus. Again, we just don't need anything on offense. I guess I'll just go defensive back here. And for the players ready to negotiate, I have 69 million. Nice. Quiddy Pay wants 12 million a year. It depends how he plays, really. So I'm going to wait on that. Richard Ryman here, he doesn't want state income tax. I really can't do anything about that. Am I going to pay him $24 million a year? Probably. Let's just do player friendly and see how that works out. Probably won't accept this, and he does not. So I may simulate another week just to sign that. Braden Smith doesn't want to be here either. He's 29 years old. I have to pay him even more. Both of these guys aren't getting paid. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not paying both of my offensive tackles over $50 million for this. So with that being said, I'm going to trade Braden Smith probably here. Jelani Woods, I wouldn't mind. He's about to turn 27 though. I could get someone just as good as him. So I might just move on from him as well. Alec Pierce, I think I'm going to trade as well. I don't use him, and 4th string wide receivers don't really do anything in Madden. And of course, I got to re-sign our GOAT for another season. He has the mentor tag, so I'm just going to keep him. And I will accept Anthony Richardson's options later, but for now, let's trade away Braden Smith and Alec Pierce. And that actually went through. Braden Smith to the Broncos for a 2nd and a 4th round pick. I'm not going to pay you $27 million a year, and then my left tackle another $25 million. It's just not happening. Alec Pierce, let's package this guy guy up as well. The young 25-year-old Alec Pierce needs to go to the Chargers. They're desperate for some receiver help for a 3rd round pick. So we just traded away 2 players for a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th round pick. I think we managed that pretty well. And then Ryman, I am going to deal with his contract in the next week. And we moved to 3-4 after the loss of the Browns. Like, and I guess our offense isn't performing enough, even though they're one of the top ranked offenses in the league. So I don't know what's up with that. But Ryman here, I guess we're just going to have to pay him the bag, and it's going to be a $23 million a year, $24 million a year, and he still says, no, dude. This is getting ridiculous. Just accept my offer. I know it's going to be more expensive by the end of the season. I'm going to simulate another week. It's going to be more expensive by the end of the season because overall is going to keep going up, and we're 3-5 now. Come on, dude. We're allowing 44 points against the Jaguars, and we only score 20? That doesn't make any sense. Our passing yards went up too. Our offensive points per game is 7th, but we're only scoring 20 points versus the Jaguars. Okay, Ryman, please. My gosh, dude, I have to completely overpay for you. $25 million a year. Finally, he resigns. Let's move into the playoffs. Probably not going to make them because we've been on a huge losing streak. And we finished 8-9. Not as bad as I thought, coming off a loss to the Chiefs, which really seals the deal for us as we finish 10th in the conference. Stats and awards, Anthony Richardson, 4th in passing yards, 97 pass rating, 2nd best offense in the NFL, 12th best defense, and we go 8-9, miss the playoffs. I don't even know what you want me to do there. Anthony Richardson, straight buns here. I thought it was a lot better than it actually was. 29 touchdowns to 22 interceptions. I might just switch to a straight running scheme, but there is definitely improvement here. So we may just switch to the Vegas playbook as Jonathan Taylor has 1 fumble, 14 touchdowns, 4.6 average, and 1,100 yards. Josh Downs, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Michael Pittman, 7 touchdowns, 1,100 yards. A.D. Mitchell with 800 yards, 7 touchdowns. Jelani Woods, 3 touchdowns, 800 yards. And Ryman got significantly better, only allowing 6 sacks this year. Zaire Franklin with 105 tackles for a loss, 16 for Latu, 13 for DeForest Buckner, 11 for Kwity Paye, 8 for Dalton Jones, sacks 12.5 for Kwity Paye. He's getting a contract. Of course, he performs in a contract year. Latu, 9 sacks, 16 tackles for a loss, 7 for DeForest Buckner, 3 for Grover Stewart, and then interceptions, 3 for Felix Spellman, 79 tackles, no tackles for a loss, but 1 sack. Not a bad rookie year from him. 2 interceptions for Damian Blackstock, the backup linebacker, and then safeties on the team is 0 defensive touchdowns, is 1 for Julian Blackman. And the Chiefs blow out the Packers in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl MVP, and he wins the league MVP here, and there are no awards here again for the Colts. In the AFC South, Joe Flacco retires. No, my GOAT is gone. And here we are after the, I was about to say after the draft. I'm going to say here we are after the retirements, as nobody really gets upgraded on the offense. Dalton Jones is a superstar development. Spellman is also a superstar development. Polk is a star development. Spellman, he earned his superstar development. Really? It says he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, but it doesn't show it in the other tab, so I guess it only showed the NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. Everything else looks pretty good. My defensive tackles are regressing, so I might need to change that up. And I was told that the hybrid defense was the 49ers playbook, so even though we got 12th this year, I don't want to ruin what we have, but at the same time, I'm still testing playbooks, so let's see how it works in the base 4-3. And for the players ready to negotiate, Anthony Richardson, I'll accept that option. Kwity Paye wants $15 million a year now. Guess I should have signed him when I had the chance. 4-year contract. He balled out. No development upgrade, but it's fine. Jelani Woods, I'll easily find a replacement. That's also a 75 overall. Everyone else here I'm just not interested in. Alec Pierce is already back in free agency. The Chargers did not want that guy. All right. And you've got to be kidding me. Kendall Fuller, who I offered the most on, goes to the Bears instead. And I also offered on Ivan Pace Jr., and he had the most interest with me as well, with the most money, and he says no as well. So that totally screws me. But at least we get Rasul Douglas for 1 year as a depth defensive back. And in this draft, we get pick 13. Much better improvement. There's a top 5 free safety here on the board. He probably has normal development. That's why a lot of AIs pass. He looks really good. This guy looks really good. Bruce Anderson, I don't need him, but he does look really sick, and the AI just said nah. So if I didn't have 2 safeties that I already drafted, probably would have got that guy. And there's a bunch of really good, strong safeties here in general, but I'm probably looking at this right tackle. Kenny Hardman here out of Miami, 6'5", 307, poor strength. Yeah, as soon as I saw poor strength, I'm just going to say no to that. Jaden Mann out of Clemson, 6'7", 340, great strength, elite change direction, A awareness, A impact block, B pass block power. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to move him to right tackle. And B+ pick, ranked 60 in the class? Really? and normal dev, of course, he's normal development. We got Brandon Springs here out of Florida State, 6'3", 233, good strength, great speed, great jumping, A awareness, A finesse moves, B zone coverage, B play rec. I'm going to pull the trigger on this guy in round number 2. B minus pick, ranked 40 in the class, picked him up at 45. Of course, he has normal development. Tight end Heath Givens here out of USC, 6'4", 243 here. Great strength, great speed, great acceleration, elite jumping. If he has normal development, I'm going to lose my mind. It's my other second-round pick that I got for trading away my right tackle. He has hidden development. He's immediately going to replace Jelani Woods. And middle linebacker Isaiah Aldridge here out of Virginia Tech, 90 speed for a linebacker is great, 6'3", 240, hidden development. Skills, A awareness, B hit power, B man coverage. I'm going to start him at left outside linebacker to replace EJ Speed. So even though I did scouting national focus to defensive back, the AI drafted one, he's a 67 overall, 68 with the boost, normal development. But for the rest of my draft, 72 overall for Jaden Mann, normal development. For an offensive lineman, that's just terrible because they almost never get development upgrades. Then Brandon Springs, normal development. Givens, though, not normal development. Aldridge, not normal development. Drafted these 2 defensive tackles with normal development. Had a lot of picks after that, but I didn't draft after that point. And I need a new mentor QB for Anthony Richardson. We got Jacoby Brissett here. I'll assign him. Then Alvin Kamara here as a second string back. Why not, dude? Mike Hilton as another depth defensive back. Yeah, why not to that as well? And then Braden Mann as a punter. And we have a superstar defensive back that they're recommending I cut on my team. He has 57 zone coverage. I'm not going to cut him just because he has superstar development. That's crazy. Dennis Hudson, we're going to cut, and they recommended that I cut Mike Hilton, the guy that I just signed. Now, this is the team after the draft. Really not that bad. Man is going to be a starter. Givens is already almost the same development as Jelani Woods, and of course, I don't have to pay him. That's the key thing. Alvin Kamara as a backup is nice. Jacoby Brissett as the mentor. Defensively, we're looking at Aldridge here. Dalton Jones moving to left outside linebacker, so I'm going to move Aldridge to left there, so that way Dalton Jones can play as right. And now, of course, the AI doesn't recognize it, and I have to refresh my entire roster and just go back and fix everything. So now that we got that, Springs is a 74. He was a good overall, but no development, so he's going to be a backup for Zaire Franklin right now. Everyone else seems pretty good. A lot of depth at corner here. I got some depth guys in the draft at defensive tackle, but we're going to try out the Niners playbook. If it's not working out by the midseason mark, I'll switch back to the Atlanta defense. We did pretty good last year, but for some reason still went 8-9. It's just EA Sports for you. Year number 3. Let's move into it. And we are 2-4, and my defense is 8th in passing yards. My offense just randomly sucks now because of EA Sports. So of course I'm switching back to the Atlanta playbook. I know, why would I stop something that was so good, but I just wanted to try it out. Our offense is currently ranked 22nd. I didn't change anything about my offense. Matter of fact, it improved. Yes, I traded my right tackle. Boo-hoo. It doesn't affect simulation. I've already run a test on it before, so we're going to see what we have here. For the scouting national focus, I'm just going to keep it on defensive back. $156 million to spend. Jonathan Taylor, he just wants the team to have a franchise QB that could change at the end of the year, so I'm going to wait on that for him to get that tag. Josh Downs, I definitely want back. He wants the team to have a franchise QB, so I'll wait on that. Quentin Nelson, I was about to say, if he wants the team to have a franchise QB, Quentin Nelson, definitely want him back. I'll do player-friendly 3-year contract. He resigns. Michael Pittman Jr., I do want back. Pretty hefty for his age, $18 million a year, and he says he's on the fence. All right. Julius Brents, this is nice depth at defensive back. I mean, he's actually the number 2 right now. I'll do player-friendly. Pretty cheap deal overall for someone who is young and has star development. Julian Blackman can walk. Kenny Moore, I wouldn't mind back for another year, and he says no. All right. DeForest Buckner is getting really old. I doubt he'll still be an 80 overall by the end of the season. Rasul Douglas was only a 1-year contract for me. Shaq Barnes, I don't know who that is, but sure, he doesn't really want to be here, and he's low overall. Ryan Kelly, I still wouldn't mind back for the final year of the rebuild, so might as well re-sign him, and he re-signs. And I don't really want the rest of these Band-Aid players that I had here. Grover Stewart, I'm going to have to replace. And then Mike Hilton, Braden Mann. Braden Mann, I actually wouldn't mind back. Let's do, sure, player-friendly. Let's just get a long-term punter here. Jacoby Brissett, I probably wouldn't mind back either. Matt Gay, I could probably replace him. But Jacoby Brissett, 1-year deal. And he says no, dude. Come on, you're a backup QB. So for now, hopefully the Atlanta playbook clutches up for us. And the Atlanta playbook did clutch up for us as we are 11-6 here to face the 12-5 Bo Nix Broncos. Stats and awards, Anthony Richardson finally broke out this year. 5th best offense in the NFL, defensively 13th. You'd like to see that. 4,600 yards, 39 touchdowns, too many interceptions, but at least he's improving. 112 passer rating is amazing. And then Jonathan Taylor, 1 fumble again, 13 touchdowns, 4.3 average, 1,100 yards. He still needs to be getting the ball more. Josh Downs, 104 receptions, 1,300 yards, 12 12 touchdowns. Michael Pittman Jr. with 5 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards. A.D. Mitchell with 900 yards, 12 touchdowns. Givens, the rookie, with 90 receptions, 800 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great rookie year from him. Ryman with 9 sacks. Man, the rookie, only with 5 sacks on the year. Okay. Zaire Franklin with 117 tackles for a loss, 12 for Leatu Latu, 12 for Kwity Paye, 10 for DeForest Buckner, 8 for Zaire Franklin. Sacks, 13 for Leatu Latu, 9.5 for DeForest Buckner, 4 for Kwity Paye. So Leatu Latu's been balling. 5 interceptions for Kenny Moore, 3 for Rasul Douglas, and safeties on the team. 0 defensive touchdowns is 0. What are the pass deflections on the year? 9 for Zaire Franklin, 7 for Spellman. Can we get our first playoff win of the rebuild here, so that way I don't completely fail like the rest of my rebuilds? We do, beating the Broncos. I wish it would just show us the score instead of me having to look at the bracket. But can we beat the 14-3 Buffalo Bills to move on to the conference championship? We're better than them in every way. And of course, we lose. It's like, oh, they're the Bills, they're a good team. My overall, offensively and defensively, was better in every way, but of course we still lose. Let's move into the 4th and final season. And the Bills win their first ever Super Bowl as the Niners are cursed and lose another Super Bowl. Ed Oliver wins the Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes wins the league MVP, and there are no awards here for the Colts. In the AFC South, Alvin Kamara retires. And for the team upgrades, Anthony Richardson does move to superstar development along with Josh Downs. You like to see that. Givens only comes with star development. That's fine. Defensively, any other upgrades? Aldridge only has star developments. No other upgrades that I can actually see, though. So that's how it's going to be for now. Leatu Latu still not getting superstar dev is kind of crazy, but I'm going to need some new defensive tackles. Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner have regressed pretty hard. We have $136 million to spend, and now that we have a franchise QB, a lot of players want to stay with the team. Jonathan Taylor resigns on that. Josh Downs resigns as well. Leatu Latu here, I'll accept that option. Michael Pittman, even though he hasn't been balling for us, I still want to accept him. We're just going to do a neutral deal. He should accept this, and he does. Julian Blackman, honestly not bad depth here. I'll do another 2-year contract, and he resigns with us. Kenny Moore only regressed 1 overall, so we're just going to do, let's do player friendly here. $11 million a year, he resigns. DeForest Buckner, even though he is an 82 overall, we're going to do player friendly, see what he wants, and he does resign on that. Rasul Douglas, I'll pass on. Jalen Jones, sure. Honestly, not bad depth, and he's young, so we will re-sign him. Grover Stewart is too old and has regressed too far, so I'm going to pass on him. Jacoby Brissett, dude, come on. Like, this is your last chance to just be a Colt. Come on, just be a Colt, dude. And he is not interested. That is the dumbest thing ever. You are a backup QB. After free agency, I got Lermy Tunsil here. I'm going to move him to right tackle. Got a new kicker, and I got our new GOAT, Joshua Dobbs, as a mentor QB. And in the draft, we have pick number 28. In the first round, picking up defensive back Jelani Pearman, ranked number 6 in the class. Got him at pick number 28. Steal of a deal here. 5'10", zone coverage archetype, 200 pounds. Out of Clemson, 93 speed, 93 acceleration, hidden development, A's and B's across the board. In round number 2, picking up a defensive tackle, D'Angelo Alexander here. He had elite speed for a defensive tackle, 6'2", 303 with 78 speed, 80 acceleration, 86 strength, hidden development, A's and B's across the board. The final draft recap, 76 overall is Jelani Pearman, 72 for D'Angelo Alexander. Monty Singleman, not that good. I drafted him, then after that I just stopped drafting. AI got a backup running back. Now this is the team after the draft. Looks like the AI drafted a new QB, Brian Matlock here out of Penn State. All right, and we're gonna of course put our GOAT over him, the shiny bald man, Joshua Dobbs. They also picked up a new receiver. Sure, let's put him at the wide receiver 4. Everything else on the offense seems great. Only an 86 overall team, really? I guess there's just a lot of younger players. Alexander's a 73, Pearman's up to a 77 now. Team looks really good. It just depends on the AI, whether or not they want to give me a win or not. Dalton Jones is going to be the number 1 here, and Pearman's going to be in the slot. Everything else looks really good. 86 overall team. It honestly feels a lot higher than that. But for now, let's see what we got in the 4th and final year, and let's just skip into the playoff. And we dominate here. 13-4. Defensive passing game is 20th. All the other ranks are in the green. Green FN. Number 1 seed here. Stats and awards. We have Anthony Richardson, a top 10 QB. Second best offense in the NFL. Defensively, 17th. I don't even know at this point. 4,300 yards, 34 touchdowns. Still too many interceptions. But hey, we're winning games. 110 passer rating. Jonathan Taylor, 1,500 yards, 5.6 average, 20 touchdowns, no fumbles. This is what happens when you give him the ball more. Josh Downs continues to ball out, 12 touchdowns, 1,200 yards. Give this man superstar development already. Michael Pittman, 7 touchdowns. Still not crossing that 1,000-yard mark, 5 yards shy. Givens with 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. A.D. Mitchell with 3 touchdowns, 800 yards. Sacks, Ryman, 8, and Will Fries with 3 here. Lermy Tunsil only giving up 2 is really nice. Defensively, Spellman, the strong safety, 2 interceptions, 3 tackles for a loss, and 102 tackles. Zaire Franklin with 95 tackles for a loss, 13 for Latu, and 15 sacks, 9 for Dalton Jones, 9 for Kwity Paye, sacks, again, 15 for Latu. Give this man superstar development already. Kwity Paye with a great season with 13.5 sacks, DeForest Buckner, 4.5. Dalton Jones with 4 interceptions, 3 for Kenny Moore, 2 for Zaire Franklin, Spellman, and Brent. Safeties on the team is 0. Defensive touchdowns is 0. Here we are to face the 10-7 Los Angeles Chargers. No way we lose this, right? Well, I don't know. I shouldn't have simulated that. Okay, thank God. Thank God. I was about to be like, no way we're about to lose this. But we are better than the Bengals in everything except defense here. So this should be a win at home. But of course, you know, it's Madden. Here we are versus I was about to say the Indianapolis Colts versus the Bengals. 3-0 start for the Bengals. 3-7 as we take the lead. 6-7, 6-10. Defense holding out very well right now, opening up the half with another touchdown. 24-6, piling it on now. My gosh, the defense actually did something here. 31-6, crushing the Bengals, moving on to the Super Bowl. Here we are in the Super Bowl, here to face the 12-5 Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels is a 95 overall, but only a star development. Seems like he progressed faster than Anthony Richardson, who has superstar development, but we are better than the Commanders in every way. Record, overall, offense, defense, but again, it's Madden. For the team upgrades, Jonathan Taylor goes up to a 99 overall superstar X Factor with the boost, of course. Givens goes up to superstar development. Team is getting these developments right at the Super Bowl, convenient. And if you guys want to cry in the comments, I don't care. I've heard some people before, oh, you're cheating, Vic. I'm being realistic. This is a realistic rebuild. Dude has constantly hit the double-digit sack marks in almost every season. I'm not going to give it to Kwity Paye because he's on and off. Sometimes he will have double digits, sometimes he won't. So I'll keep him at star development. Spellman goes to X Factor. You love to see it. And Pierman only comes with star development. So I think Latu is definitely justified. Alexander comes with star development. Just saying. Either way, let's see what we got. Please, I need this win. For my rebuild reputation's sake, I need this. Here we are versus the Washington Commanders. We're going to start out with 7. We get the ball back again. 14-0 versus the Commanders. Piling it on 21-0 at halftime. And we get the ball to start the half. 28-0. Humiliating Jaden Daniels and the Commanders here. That will be the game. 35-14. And my rebuild reputation has been revived. I am so sorry, you guys. But we finally get a rebuild win here. In 4 years, of course. I have to do it within 4 years or else it doesn't count. Sometimes 5 years, but Super Bowl winners, that is what we are here. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys like and or subscribe if you guys did enjoy this video. Anthony Richardson wins the Super Bowl MVP. Brock Purdy, another league MVP. No other awards for the Colts, but obviously this rebuild was a W. So once again, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.